Hi everyone, it's Ben Adams with the American Offset Mortgage, and welcome back to the channel. Now today I wanted to share with you what makes me unique as a mortgage professional. I know what you're probably thinking. As a young man, I wanted to be a baseball player or a fireman, maybe a police officer, maybe an astronaut. If you thought those things, you would be wrong. As a young boy, as a young man, I knew that I always wanted to get into the mortgage business. I had family in the mortgage business, and I got to see the impact that it had on their life and how they were able to help people achieve the American dream of home ownership. They had a really big influence on me. And even when I was younger, in high school and then in college, I always knew that I wanted to get into this industry. The reason I'm sharing that is because a lot of times people in the mortgage industry, they feel like they are stuck in the industry or they got placed in the industry and they can't get out. Not me. I love mortgage. I love being in the industry. It's something that I get up and I enjoy every single day, and I take great pride, and I consider it an incredible privilege and opportunity to help people achieve buying their first home or their second home, or helping them build out an investment portfolio. And this really has been a lifelong dream of mine. And here in 2023, I am now in my 20th year in mortgage, if you can believe that. Now, not only have I been in the industry for over 20 years, but another thing that makes me really unique is my diverse background within the industry and how I have made it a priority to learn every single piece and part of the mortgage industry wheel. You see, I've learned the entire business from start to finish, top to bottom. I started my career off in compliance, just reviewing and auditing files. I then moved as an intern in the summer of 2004, and I worked in the rate lock department. I got to see how to bundle mortgages and sell those to investors on the secondary market. Really an incredibly invaluable experience. A couple years later, after I graduated from college, I then transitioned into processing, where I did that for a couple years. A processor is the one that works with the customer. They gather all the documents, they go through the finances, and they make sure that the file is organized, that it's prepared, that it has everything that it needs before it goes off to the underwriter. After my time in processing, I then got to work in the closing department, where I worked on settlement statements and closing disclosures. And this really is the most important part of the entire transaction, because once it gets to closing, then at that point, you know that customer is going to want to review that information and really understand exactly what the numbers are, what their cash to close is, what their interest rate is going to be. And they want to have someone that can explain that to them in a way that they can understand. That's something that I am literate in to this day. I can explain all of the ins and outs on the closing disclosure, starting on page 1, going to page 2, and on to page 3. I know how to manually calculate what is going into the impound account for the property taxes and homeowners insurance. How is the prepaid interest calculated? What is the difference between a closing cost, prepaid, and impound? How does the impact of a discount point affect the interest rate? These are questions that I can answer myself and explain to all of my customers. After that, I got the opportunity to work in management for several years, managing a team of processors and closers. And then from there, I moved into my underwriting role, where I did that for several years. The underwriter is the one that goes through the file and analyzes all of the financials for the customer. They're going to be looking at the credit report, the bank statements, pay stubs. If the customer is self-employed, they're going to be going through the tax returns. There are several different types of self-employed income. You have sole proprietors, you have customers that own partnerships, customers that will file an 1120S. I got the opportunity to underwrite and really understand all of that. And tax returns can be hundreds of pages. And I knew how to go through that myself, review income. I don't need to hand that off to somebody else. It's very empowering, where when a customer hands me 500 pages of tax return documents, I can handle that, I can read it, I can review it, and I can correctly analyze all of that income. Not just that though, also investment properties. When someone has a duplex or an apartment complex, I know how to cash flow all of that. Having that underwriting skill set, now that I am in sales and origination, is something that's incredibly valuable because I'm really able to empower myself and let people know that I have this incredible skill set. When you work with me, you're not just working with a loan officer, but you're working with an underwriter, a closer, a processor. You are working with a mortgage professional that understands every part of the industry and the process from start to finish. Now, there's two things that allows me to do, and that's important for two reasons. Number one, I understand the entire process from start to finish. I have the ability to anticipate what is going to be needed and what pitfalls to watch out for. I have never sent out a pre-approval to a customer that I had to say, oops, you know what? You're no longer pre-approved because there was an oversight, or we missed this, or I incorrectly calculated this. Every single pre-approval letter I have ever sent out has closed, and it is closed on time. We have never once missed a closing date, and we have never once had a pre-approval that has fallen through. And that is a testament to me, my background, my skills, and then also the incredible team that we have. And the second reason that's important, because it allows me to provide a higher level of service with the customers that I work with. I have the ability to answer those questions up front, set appropriate expectations, give them an idea on what their financing terms are going to look like before they write an offer. And I always do that as a courtesy with every customer. I want them to feel 100% confident before they write their offer. I want them to know what their interest rate is going to be, what their monthly payment is going to be. I want to make sure that they can afford the home and that they're comfortable with the payment range that I'm quoting them. I let them know what their down payment is and give them an idea of what their cash to close is going to be. I want all of my customers to make an informed financial decision based off of the facts and not have to guess or estimate or go into a property with all these variables and unknown. I want all of my customers to have confidence in myself, my bank, and their financing package, and that is exactly what we do.
Perfect.